Good morning. Well, it's good afternoon now. Shoot, 12 o'clock here. Just turned strike 12. Happy day, beautiful people. I'm processing, and if you're new to this page, my name is Zoha. I am a certified yoga teacher, certified Reiki healer, trauma wellness advocate, been a counselor for over 20 years, and I use my platform to share my healing process, not just yoga. And something I do every month is called the monthly reset, where I tackle something that's been working on me. So I'm working on it and working through it, and I share my process in the event that it lends some, help to someone else, that someone else finds it supportive or useful or informative, right? I don't believe in healing in a silo. That I have a community of folks, that's you all who are on my page, and I use you all as a sounding board to heal in some of my processes, and the monthly reset is one of those processes. So this month's monthly reset is about the mother wound. Y'all know it was Mother's Day yesterday here in the United States, and some of us have difficult relationships with our mother figures. I am one of those people. It's not so much that it's difficult now, it's that I still process a lot of my childhood trauma. And one of the things that, well, first let me tell you what the mother wound is. The mother wound is a trauma bond that is passed on from generation to generation, and its behaviors, ideals, beliefs, and patterns that mothers pass on to their daughters. And it's up to us daughters to see these wounds and to transmute them into something healthy, so that we won't pass these same mother wounds onto our daughters, right? So I was thinking about my mother wound yesterday during Mother's Day, and I didn't want to talk about this on Mother's Day because I want everybody to have a good Mother's Day, right? But I was thinking about my mother wound on Mother's Day, and I am married to a man who has a very traditional mother. His mother is a mother. She is still mothering her children that are 45 and 52 years old. She's still a mother. She's mothering her children through their adult life. She has not stopped mothering. And this is the kind of mother I've always aspired to be, even though I did not grow up with this kind of mother. I did not experience this kind of mother as a child. So being with them yesterday is always healing for me. Being around my mother-in-law is always healing for me, because it restores some of the things that I lost in my childhood, being mothered by a woman who wants to mother. I don't think my mother wanted to mother traditionally, because she didn't. And I think it was a difficult choice for her to try to mother, which she eventually stopped doing and relinquished her rights to motherhood. And my siblings and I ended up in foster care. So, with that said, one of the things that I have been processing is, and it really was a lot to process, honestly. One of the things I was processing is, as a kid, my mother would often give other kids in the neighborhood things that she wouldn't give my siblings and I. Say like it was even, $1 to go to the truck, to the, ice cream truck or the store, or, participate in their fundraisers or whatever, or even be playful with them, right? She would have this energy for other people's children that she didn't seem to have for us. And, she even, at one time in my childhood, you know how they used to have, you could, adopt a kid in another country and send them money, she would do that. She would go to the prison and with her church and pay for other kids clothing and shoes, and we barely had any of that, right? So it was a very frustrating point of view for me as a kid to see this woman who was my mother to be so giving to all of these other people and not have it to give to her own children, or not even attempt. And for a long time, I had a lot of anger around that, a lot of frustration, a lot of malice towards my mom because of the way that she was able to open her arms to the rest of the world and the community. So it seemed to me as a kid and my siblings, because we would talk about it often, and not be able to do that with her own children who were in need right in front of her. Oftentimes we went to bed hungry. We didn't never have enough clothes or shoes or anything for school, and we lived in very poor conditions. So all of this was perplexing to me, that she found the ability to give to others when we were in such need. Yesterday occurred to me when I got off the phone with my mother, this thought prompted in my head about her giving, right? And it has set off a wave in me as a mother, right? I am over giving to my children. I give them everything I have. If I'm eating, if I'm literally about to eat my food, my kids want it, I give it to them. I give everything that I have to my kids because I don't want them to ever think that, you know, they're inconvenienced, because they're not. You know, I can get whatever I have, I can get it again, because, you know, they're here and they deserve to have my best. And that's where my brain lives. But it occurred to me today, now this is the part about the healing and the processing that came up for me. I've failed before. I've been bad at things before. Right? And I don't know. I do know. My mother's very hard on herself because she was very hard on us. I know that my mother was not oblivious to the fact that she was not doing very well as a parent. And I'm going to come back to you making it happen. I see what you're saying. And it occurred to me yesterday that she had resoluted in her head that she had already failed as a parent. She had already failed as a mother. She had already failed herself as a human. And so, on some level, giving to these people, strangers who didn't matter, gave her some type of confidence, some type of healing that she needed, because she couldn't get that from us already, because she had already failed us. We're already looking at her with the side eye like, what type of mama is you? We were already giving her that energy at 5, 6, 7, you know, because we had eyes and we could see the world around us, and we knew that the way we lived was distinctly different than everyone else around us, and we knew that it was not right on some level, that it was problematic. And it occurred to me that she had already chalked it up, that she was a failure as a parent, a failure as a woman, a failure in this realm of her life, and that the best thing she could be was a giver to people who didn't see that failure in her. Oh my God. When I heard that, my heart broke. Like, I'm constantly having moments where I understand how broken a person my mother was before she had us. And having an extended compassion to her former selves that I grew up with as a kid. Because I can't extend the compassion to this self that I know now, because she is not parenting me anymore. But extending that compassion to her in her former life as my mother, so that I, not only can she heal from afar, but that I can heal that child in me that was neglected and abused and left to fend for themselves. Not that, you know, I'll never get that recognition from her, and I don't desire it, because what would it do at this point? It wouldn't make me feel good for her to confess how terrible she was at parenting or how uninformed or unready she was to parent. Because that's really what it was. She wasn't just terrible at it. She was just uninformed and not ready to parent. You know, biology is one thing. But being biologically ready to parent is different than being mentally, spiritually, and emotionally ready to parent. And this was one of the lessons that I took as an adult, and why I waited until I was damn near 35 years old to start having children, because it was so important to me that I be spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially well enough to parent. These were things I had time to consider, because I had the mother wound of being emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically abused and neglected by my mother. And so transgressing or transmuting that energy into one that is healing for my children has been important for me. Let me go back. There was a couple of comments. Oh my God, y'all coming so fast. I should have pinned it. Whew. Soak up the lesson in love. Given by your husband's mother, shared the pain and embrace forgiveness. Your mother did the best she could using the compassionate skills she had. Hurt people, hurt people. Of course. Thank you, Miss Shell. Is that my mother? If that's you, Ma, thank you. Because that looked like you, Ma. Anyway, hi, Ma. You're doing great work, hard work. Thanks, Ma. I need you. I didn't know you followed me, but it's okay. And somebody said, how do they help their daughter heal? But I wasn't sure what the healing was for, so I don't know how to answer that question if you're still here. But I wanted to share that experience because we do get to extend compassion back to our mother's former selves and our former selves, right? Because as a child, I didn't have this understanding that I have as an adult, that I have as a parent. I didn't have this knowledge. I didn't have this experience. And we all don't have that, right? We all don't get that before we get to the place where we are taking on a task. And that's what I was talking about. You know, we've all not been good at something. We've all failed at something. But that doesn't make the totality of who we are as human beings. We get to learn and grow from our experiences and take those learned lessons and turn them into what could be triumphs for ourselves and the people around us who love us and who we love. All right, so that was the download. That's the monthly reset. Hope this helped anybody. If y'all don't have any questions, I got about 6 more miles to walk. And I'm gonna hop off here. So let me know if you have any questions about the mother wound or healing your mother wound and transmuting that energy. Because that's what this monthly reset is about. All right, people. So there's nothing. I'm not a big stay on the internet person. I come on, do what I got to do, and I go. How did you come to want to heal your mother wound? Making it happen 247. I knew I wanted to be a mother. And I knew that the way that I looked at motherhood was not healthy. I didn't have a healthy view of motherhood as an adult, as a young adult. And for a long time, I denied that I wanted to be a mother because I was terrified that I would be a terrible mother. Because I didn't feel I was equipped with the type of love that you need to have children. I didn't feel like that as a young woman. And so when it really sat on my heart, when I came into my 30s and I really realized that I actually wanted to be a mother. Hey, Sexy Spirit TV. I decided that I would start I was already in therapy, but I decided I would start digging deeper into that mother wound, talking more to my therapist about the things that I felt like I might be passing on to my children and that I was scared that I would do to my children. I was very honest, I had a very bad temper in my 20s, terrible temper. And I knew I didn't want to beat my children because I was terrified of what I would do to a kid with the type of anger that I had. So I started talking about that, about why I was angry. I liked confrontation a lot, why I wanted to be so confrontational, why I thought everything was a fight. And I worked through all that stuff. Why I had to really go in and change my belief system. I had to learn to approach life differently. I had to learn how to show up with my heart because it was so damaged and broken and scarred that I was not using it for a very long time. I was just floating through the world, hoping that someone else would use their heart towards me. But I was dangerous. I'm gonna go the other way because there's cutting grass. I was dangerous. I didn't know what version of myself would show up at any time in any situation. I had no control over myself. So therapy really helped me figure out why I had all these different versions of me and why they were so angry and why they were so confrontational and why I thought everything had to be a fight, why I thought I had to force my way through everything in order to be loved and appreciated. And it really did come from my mother wound. It really did come from not having that support that I needed as a kid to feel loved and valuable. And I had to relearn my value. I had to learn that doing things don't make you valuable. Who you are intrinsically makes you valuable. You being here makes you valuable. You don't have to do anything to be valuable. And because I didn't get the attention that I needed from my parent, I started to do attention-seeking behavior as a young adult and a teenager in order to get love and affection from people. And I had to learn how to change that mindset in my head. It was a lot of work. And to the point where, I had to go to the complete other extreme. Like, I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks, what anybody wants, in order to, right myself right back to the middle. I had to, because I was so far over to one extreme, I had to swing myself all the way to the other extreme so I could level out. And it took a long time. I'm not going to lie. It took a long time for me to get to this point where I get that I can be valuable and I don't have to prove it, but I also don't have to abuse other people to make them see my value, right? And if someone doesn't see my value and doesn't see how, what I deserve, then I don't have to engage with them. I don't have to cuss them out. I don't have to be mean to them. I don't have to want to fight them. I don't have to do anything. I can just disengage. It's that simple. And it is simply said, right? But it's a lot of undoing that you have to do, right? Thank you, making it happen. Yeah, it's a daily unraveling, When someone calls me or I'm talking to someone and they say something to me, I have to step outside of my body almost like like the Matrix, like Neo steps outside himself and watches the situation. And that's what I do. I watch everything. I watch me. I watch the person. I watch everything. And then I come back and I'm like, okay, so this is what we have here. You need X, Y, and Z. This is my capabilities. How can these two things meet? Because I'm not going to stretch myself, and I don't want you to stretch yourself. I want what you have and what I have to be complementary. Not for us to be working so hard to get to each other that we build in resentment and pain in the space that we're trying to create. And there's a lot of work. when you don't know that you're valuable, and you don't know that you're, when you have a lack conversation, and the lack is everything. Lack, not being loved creates lack conversations, and that falls into everything. It falls into who you are around, who you have sex with, who are your friends, who is your partner, where do you live, what do you do for work, how do you present yourself, right? I had to do a lot of work. There's things I do daily, like this, getting on the internet and just not caring, generally about how I look. Not being overly invested in putting on makeup and all of that shit. That's a part of that process. And loving myself. Because the old me would have had my hair all did all that. I've been 5 or 6 years into this. I don't care how I look when I pick up the phone and say live or copy or, film. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot, because we are not kind to people when they don't fit into certain boxes. And my journey is to stop trying to fit into boxes that don't serve me, right? It wouldn't have served me to put on makeup because I'm going walking. It wouldn't have served me to do my hair because I'm out walking and I'm enjoying myself and I'm taking care of my body. But this is what we sell to the world, right? We sell that we're a ready-made package. And I'm out walking with makeup on and my hair done and having a conversation with you. That's what we are used to seeing. In order for me to be my best self, I cannot fall into those traps because they're unrealistic. And I would never be able to maintain that. And that talks to me about my value and my worth. And it changes how I show up in the space, right? A woman's pure heart would make her to me. Everybody different, right? We all require different things. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm saying it doesn't work for me. If that's what you need in order to be your best self, I'm here for it for you. It's not what I need to be my best self. If I did that, it would be a lie. And I don't like to lie. I don't like to be inauthentic. All right. And make sure nobody else ain't asked nothing. I don't think they did. I hope this was helpful and useful to anyone who is doing the work of healing their mother wound, doing the work of healing their lack conversations. The biggest thing about this is, for me, we always have conversations about abundance and manifestation. And the one thing I notice is that when you have a huge lack conversation, manifestation is hard. Abundance is hard. It's a lot of work. You can tap into it for a minute sometimes, right? But then your lack conversation comes along and tells you that you're not valuable, you're not worthy, you have nothing to offer. And then that abundance or whatever you're manifesting goes kaput, right? It falls off. And learning how to just fuck with you, just basic you, is really a huge manifestation hack. Because when people come, when people want to invest in you, they're investing in you, the pure product. They're not investing in all the other shit. Because they can get that everywhere. Just a reminder for those of us who struggle with lack or have been, worth conversations. Tap into what that thing that is you, that makes you uniquely you, and build on that. Expand that. Because that's what is going to bring you your wealth, whatever that looks like for you. And wealth looks different for everybody. Some people wealth looks like houses and cars. Some people wealth looks like family. Some people wealth looks like an abundance of love. Some people wealth looks like connections, having, being able to connect to people and get anywhere they want. Some people wealth looks like people speak well about them. Some people wealth all of the above, right? We know people like this. There are people who are quote unquote famous, who have these traits, and we love them for these things. That's why they're in the positions they're in. It's not anything else. It's literally that they've tapped into their wealth conversation and they've let it do the work for them, and they expanded upon it. That's it. And it's just really, you have to keep learning how to do that and tweaking it over and over again until it's fine-tuned, and that like signal opens up for you, and you stay there. And then, you know, you keep fine-tuning and shifting every time. That's what, from my experience, that's how I experience manifesting and all of that. So this conversation went a whole lot of different places. It's like everybody in my neighborhood is deciding to make noise today, but it's a nice day, so I get it. But that's it. Kay, hey sweetness, sexy self, girl. That's everything I have, y'all. I'm about to hop off. If y'all have no questions, and going about my life, because that's what I know how to do best. All right, people, be true to yourselves. Continue to love yourselves. I pray your healing journey is one that's filled with so much grace, because we all deserve it. We all deserve the grace that we need in order to learn and to heal. I love you, Kay. Bye, y'all. Peace.